This is what everybody sees when they look at my chestnut orchard today. Beautiful trees, healthy growth. But what you don't see is all the stuff it took to get them to where they are today. But through the years, there's been plenty of things that have tried to kill these trees. Deer, voles, disease, plenty of my own mistakes. Today, I'm gonna walk you through everything that it took to get these big, beautiful, healthy chestnut trees and try to limit trees that look like this one.
At Lake Erie, chestnuts were working the land, planting food plots with calloused hands. From Big Bucks Ridge to the fishing line, growing good trees and having a time. From the orchard rows to the timber stand, hunting, fishing, managing land. Raise it up, keep on sowing. If you're not growing, you're dying. Lake Erie chestnuts, let's grow!
One of the ironic things is that I planted these trees for wildlife, and then almost immediately had to start protecting them from the very wildlife that I was trying to plant them for. A deer can destroy in seconds something that it took you years to grow. So don't put all that work into planting without protecting. Some trees, some deer designate as a community rub, where they all want to rub their antlers on the same tree. They did that for 2 years on this tree. About 5 years ago, I put this wire cage around it. The tree looks like it's doing okay and trying to grow around that, but that's a major scar on that tree. So my solution to the problem, at a minimum, you should use tree tubes. They are protective, they will force some upward growth and try to get your trees above deer browse height. But lately I've fallen in favor of wire cages. You get a stronger tree using a wire cage. So I've moved to the wire cage. I like that better. It takes more time. It's more expensive. You do have to take them off later. But overall, I think the benefits probably are in the wire cage's favor. I was prepared for deer damage. I knew that they like chestnuts. What I was not prepared for was the little critters. Voles, rabbits, squirrels. Another problem was gypsy moths, now known as the spongy moth. This was a terrible outbreak for a couple years and caused complete defoliation of several trees. Although they did manage to survive through, it did set them back. Interestingly, the gypsy moth collapses naturally. A specific virus and a fungus starts to thrive when the caterpillar populations become too dense and they die. But this was particularly devastating for a couple years. And you can fence out some of those predators, but there are things up there in the sky that you can't fence out. Hail damage, early snows, late spring frost, lots of things that you try to protect, and despite all your best efforts, you just can't protect them all the way. Chestnuts want to grow, they want to get going in the spring. Sometimes they wake up a little early before the Pennsylvania weather's over though, and then we get those, what I call the Mother's Day frost. And some of the problems hurt the chestnuts, others hurt me. Wasps love building their nest in these things. Further down south, that's a big problem. Hornets have set up in my tubes and in my trees. And I've had a couple unpleasant surprises on the top of my head as I mowed past them. Fortunately, I'm not deathly allergic. Then we talked recently about furry critters, groundhogs digging giant holes. Do you hear me down there? Got the neighbor planting corn next to me. That's sometimes something you have to worry about, although I haven't noticed a lot of problems. If someone's spraying near your farm, you can get overspray. And we can't talk about chestnuts without talking about chestnut blight. If you're in an area east of the Mississippi, you will likely deal with blight. It definitely can cause a problem. I find that if the trees get a little canker and seem to be growing well, I leave it. If the tree seems like it's struggling and it kills everything from the top and starts sending up root sprouts and it seems very susceptible, I just eliminate it and start over. People often ask why I don't grow pure American trees. The simple answer is there is no American tree known to have any level of blight resistance. That's why we've grown trees with at least 29 different parents, lots of genetic diversity, so that if one tree becomes susceptible to blight and dies, that's not the end of the orchard. I'll wave at the farmer. Beautiful tractor there. Looks like it could be a 40-20. Love that tractor. But as we work in the chestnuts with the blight, you want to pick species that are resistant. And Chinese chestnuts definitely have far more resistance than others. That's why most of my trees have some level of Chinese genetics. Although we have plenty of American, European, Japanese/Korean, Chinese genetics are what keep us best. Wind is a problem if you're going to do tubes. This tree, look at this tree leaning. I'm standing up vertically. It's a huge lean. I don't know if that tree will make it long term, but we just let him survive and see what happens. We got some bear scat right there. Right here in the chestnut orchard. So after going through that whole list, deer, rabbits, voles, insects, disease, weather, everything else, it's actually pretty amazing to stand next to a tree like this and think about everything that survived. Because when you see a mature chestnut tree, you don't see all the time spent fixing cages, replacing the tubes, replanting dead trees, or wondering if that little seedling that I started in the basement all those years ago will ever actually become something. After more than 11 years of growing these chestnuts, I found planting them is just the start. There's lots more to do in daily protection of these trees from all the things that want to kill them. But that's what makes it rewarding. It's a long game. You're not planting for tomorrow. You're planting something that produces for decades. And after 11 years, I can tell you, there's going to be failures. You're going to lose some trees. You're going to make some mistakes. I certainly have. And hopefully through these videos, you've learned not to make some of mine. But if you can get them through those first few years and protect them, eventually they seem to be able to take care of themselves. If you're growing chestnuts, I'm curious to hear, what have been your biggest challenges? Getting them above deer browse height? Voles? If I top through a root rot if you're in the south? Too much wet? Wrong soil? How many of you have been hit with a wasp or a hornet while you're mowing them? For those of you growing your own chestnuts, I hope what I've shared has helped in some way. I'll continue to share as I learn and grow more beautiful chestnuts. Remember, guys and gals, if you're not out there growing, you're dying.